Okay, so before we get into it, let's go over some of the key specs. The new Panigale V4S weighs 187 kilograms, 2 kilograms lighter than the previous model, and gains 0.5 horsepower despite the more restrictive Euro 5 rules. The Desmo Sedici Stradale engine is a 90-degree V4 with counter-rotating crank and features parts from the Panigale R and ultra-lightweight Superleggera V4. This produces 216 bhp at 13,500 rpm. If you splash the cash on the Ducati racing exhaust, the power increases to a mind-blowing 228 horsepower. All of those numbers are incredible, but where this 7th generation of Ducati Superbike really makes the difference is in the chassis. A new front frame, and let's not forget that controversial double-sided swing arm, have been designed to reduce lateral stiffness, which I'm told all adds up to much improved grip and stability. Integrated aerodynamics reduces drag by 4% and overall improved ergonomics over the previous model. Brakes are the new lighter high-pure calipers from Brembo, and these are run by the very clever eCBS system. In essence, this is a combined brake setup targeted for the racetrack, which can apply rear brake even after the front brake has been released. The tech has also upped the game with Ducati Vehicle Observer, which is essentially an overview system that takes all 70+ sensor inputs of the bike and applies them in almost a predictive manner to maximize performance and ultimately lap time. The V4S is priced at £29,995 in the UK, with the base model V4 weighing in at a mere £24,395. If this bike is as good as Ducati say it is, then the motorcycle world is about to be changed forever. Let's find out. Well, good morning, and what a morning this is. You join me in pit lane in Vallelunga, which is just outside Rome in Italia, and today this is probably one of the dream launches. This is probably one of the dream gigs where we have the brand new Panigale V4, and not only that, we also have a dedicated technician to help us understand the bike, to go through all the data, all the telemetry, and hopefully tell us how to ride it better and improve as riders. We've got Claudio Domenicali's here. We are absolutely living the dream. So I think today is going to be one of those days where you're happy to be alive. There's only 10 of us on track all day, only 5 at a time, and this is going to be our debrief booth. So we'll be in here getting information from the technician, basically going ride faster, ride faster. Here's all the bikes lined up. We've just had a little, a mini technical presentation on the bike, and this bike is an absolute game changer. Oh my gosh. Vallelunga is an incredibly technical circuit. If anyone's ever gone on Ride 5, or 4 or 3, which I did at the weekend before I came here, to see what it was like, because I've never been here before, it's a very technical circuit to ride, very hard, notoriously hard, and that's why they've chosen to come to this circuit, because it is such a tough place. There's some super fast bits, there's some incredibly slow bits, and lots of technicalities and difficulties in the middle. So it's going to be great to have the technician here to help with the data and let me know why I'm going so slowly, and see if I can improve. And that's the name of the game today, is improvement. Let the bike do its thing, speak to the technicians, and have faith in the bike. Honestly, from what I've been hearing in this presentation, I think this bike is, I'd be so surprised if it's not absolutely unbelievable. So, right, with that, I'm going to get my leathers and go to the toilet. In fact, the other way around, actually.
You gonna film it?
Yeah. Okay guys, so I'm suited up in the Zebra, and this is my bike for the day. I've got Massimo over here who's going to help me run through it and be faster. So yeah, I'm going to jump on it now. We've got a sighting lap to go through the bike to just get used to this circuit. I've never been here, it's a really technical track. So yeah, I'll see you on board. Okay, so we're in race mode B at the moment.
Yes.
Okay, and then the data logger lap timer is automatic?
Yes.
Okay, and does it give you a live readout of whether you're up, down?
Exactly.
Yeah? Right. Let's do it. Okay, so fist bumps with my homies, and off we went on some sighting laps of Vallelunga. Straight out of the pit lane, you can feel the confidence and feedback coming from the bike. The huge Pirelli rear tyre certainly helped with its 265 profile. Change of direction is easier, and it almost feels a little like the V2 chassis in some aspects, but with Superbike power. After the initial laps, it was time to look at the data. The sheer volume of that data is beyond my comprehension, but Massimo got to work and highlighted where we can improve. If your goal is lap time, then this GP-like system is a must for developing your pace and identifying weak points, particularly if you have Alessandro Vallia's lap as a reference. Right, so I'm back off the bike, I'm blowing, I'm fat and I'm old. How badly did I do, Massimo?
Not so bad.
Not so bad?
Yes! Here you can find a point where you have to improve.
Yep.
In the throttle closure, grip closure.
Closure or opening?
Closure. Yeah,
okay.
Closure. Turn 6.
Yes.
You can close the throttle about 75 meters later.
Granted, this tech isn't everyone's cup of tea, but if you enjoy a good nerd out, then you're going to love this system, which is actually simpler than it looks. After trawling the data and identifying I can brake a massive 75 meters later, Vallia offered to take me out and show me how it's done. The scary turn 3 is nudging 160 miles per hour, and the new V4S felt like it was not only holding my hand, but encouraging me to commit further. The old bike would have been shaking its maracas off through here, but with the new flexibility in the chassis and that swing arm, the new V4 just sucks up the punishment. The braking zone into turn 7 is an absolute monster, and the eCBS system makes it feel like you can take the absolute Michael with it. I don't think I have ever braked as hard on any track anywhere in the world as I did here. A minor criticism is that it can feel a little like you are riding a robot at times, and John Connor would be turning in his future grave. However, all of this exceptional technology is there for performance. If you want an organic experience, buy an old 916. This new Panigale is 100% aimed at delivering lap time. That said, the Ducati passion is still absolutely present in the new bike. It's just perhaps a little, dare I say, Germanic in its delivery.
Oh, that was, so I went out with Vallelunga, and that was amazing. That was amazing. That was so fast, and I was working so hard. But that bike is so much, it's such an improvement over the last one. And the last one was great, but this, you've just got the confidence everywhere, and that rear brake, the ABS activating, is so good on these little Nadgery hairpins which you got here. It's so good. That's probably one of the reasons why they came to this track, actually. Let me just take my waxy earplugs out. So we're going to plug in, and Massimo's going to tell me if I did any better or did any worse. But the suspension feels much better. It's much like it was too soft. Because I think the race 1, it stiffens up the suspension as well.
Race A is better than...
Yeah, race A is way better. The throttle pickup is better. Yeah, it's 2 seconds better.
45, 2 seconds. 2 seconds faster.
2 seconds faster in one session. That's race ABS. That's the mode.
Now it's hard to improve.
Now
seconds.
Now I'm not going to... Yeah, I don't think I'll get another 2 seconds. We'll come back later. Well, it's lunchtime now. Had a bit of an excursion into the gravel, just a little one. But the ABS E, whatever it's called, I'll put it on the screen. The level 1 is definitely superior, and it gave me the confidence to try and push even further on the brakes, which is my worst area. And I just pushed a little bit too far and nobbled in to the kissy litter. Honestly, I've never felt closer to being a GP rider than I do now. Obviously, the skill level is totally comparable. But yeah, I mean, at this point, if this bike was in a group test now, I cannot see it losing in any area. It's amazing on the brakes. The power is amazing. The chassis is a much bigger step. The electronics are incredible. It looks great. What more do you want? The end of the test is approaching, and there is one last session left to bust in a hot one. So with the help of the data and technicians, we tweaked the suspension, turned everything up to the max, and put on our big boy pants.
What is the lap time?
44.44. It's like it's meant to be.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, oh, look at that, hang on. That is the race exhaust, which sounds pretty bloody good. It's So yeah, that's it from sunny Rome at Vallelunga. I mean, if you haven't been around this track before, it's actually a really good track, but it's very, very technical, very difficult, and very stressful. But and I will do a piece to camera in a minute and give my proper thoughts on the bike, but the overriding sensation is it's so much easier to ride. There's no way I'd be anywhere near the lap time I did today on the old bike, no way. The stability, the electronics, the brakes, that little rear brake thing's really, really good. And yeah, I need to sort of just compose myself and get some thoughts together and go and have a sugary drink, I think. So I'll see you in my pajamas or something probably. Bye. Well, does it get much better than this? Rome, sunshine, and a beautiful new Panigale V4S. We've had our day on the track, and there's a couple of things that stand out for me on this new bike. Honestly, and I know that we're not going to talk about looks, they're subjective. We've had all that on social media, everyone's moaning about the swing arm, but I can promise you, this swing arm, you want it in your bike. Combined with the new electronics that this has, the technical aspects, and the braking control, all of these things mean that this bike is so much easier to ride. That's the main takeaway. If you take nothing else away from this video, this bike is now a proper, easy bike to ride. That's beneficial in several ways. Fatigue around here, this Vallelunga circuit is very intense. It's a super hard workout, and this is probably the hardest I've ever worked on a launch. We've had 15 minutes on, 15 minutes off. The old bike, I think I would have been done after session 2. This bike now, with the way that it rides, the feedback it gives, the stability, and I can tell you now, turn 2 through here is proper scary. But at no point did I want to lift. I felt, even if the bike starts getting a bit unstable, just full gas. I completely trust the electronics on this bike, and yeah, it's moved on, it's moved the game on. I cannot see another bike coming out in the next couple of years which is going to be better than this. And that's a big statement, but I just can't see anything else coming. Ducati seem very focused on their performance mission. And an interesting point, last night, Domenicali was here and we had a little chat, and he said that Ducati will make the last sports bike on the road ever. They're going to focus on this mission. This is what Ducati's mission is. It's superbikes, sports bikes, and this is a whole nother level. Brakes. So this is the new caliper. It's lighter, cooler. The performance combined with the new electronic system is, I mean, the old bike braked well, but this now, the stability on the brakes has moved on. And the best thing about this is now, and who would have thought I'd ever say this, the ABS system. ABS now on track in this bike it's actually something that you want, because the combined braking system with this, with the rear actuation, is a game changer. On the slower corners here, you can really, like when it first started kicking in, you think, oh God, what is that? What's that? I've lost the bike. But actually what it is the rear caliper applying and just pulling you into that corner a bit further. Me being an intermediate sort of, semi-whatever racer, I've done a couple of race days and bits and bobs, but I'm by no means right out there. I don't have time to use the rear brake, so for this, for me, this is the ideal setup. And yeah, for these tight, very difficult little corners around here, it's an absolute game changer. So the braking with stability and the rear ABS, it's fantastic, and I never thought I'd say that. So that's probably my 2 takeaways, stability and braking improvements. Electronics, again, with this new dash, there's a whole load of layouts you can have. You can have sector times, the data logging, with all of the information that's coming out. You can plug it into your computer and see where you can go faster, slower, the way you can lay out the dash in terms of sector times, all within the bike. It's all within the bike. You don't have to get extra stuff, buy it, stick it on the bike. I'm sure you probably have to buy it from Ducati. Don't know how much it is, but it's a very convenient system. Wheelie control, traction control, all that's quite similar to the bikes before. The way the dash works and operates, if you've had a Ducati before, if you had a Panigale before, you'll be fine with it. A beautiful thing about the older bike was how wild it was, particularly in the earlier versions, whereas
I did find it, sometimes I just wanted a bit more, and even though we're on the lowest traction setting and the lowest wheelie control and stuff like that, but that would have been a more visceral experience and it would have been a more enjoyable ride, but I guarantee you would have been going slower. So it's almost tidying up your riding for you, and they use this term skill booster. So the rear brake is a skill booster, and the traction and how that's delivered is a skill booster on this bike to develop lap time. That's what it's about. And that is why you've got that swing arm. I was talking to Panigale last night, and they actually they were given a task, produce the best single-sided swing arm and produce the best dual-sided swing arm. And they tested them back to back that they could, and everyone went faster with the dual-sided swing arm. So I'm afraid it looks like it's here to stay, whether you like it or not, or just, you know, keep the old bike, whatever. But if you want to go faster, you need that. Ergonomics, I'm a big lad, 6'3", 6'4", and a Cuban heel, and there's plenty of room on this bike. Maybe even more room than the previous bike, which was pretty roomy. I felt like I had a load of distance to be able to hop back on the seat, tuck in on the straights. It didn't feel like I was being cramped at all in any way, so that's another step on from the Ducati of old. The foot pegs, they've been pulled in as well, so again, I've got big old stupid slabs of meat down here. Because the lean angles you can achieve on this bike are so high, I just wear through boots. Whereas now, they've been pulled in, it's much narrower. Because of this swing arm, you get a bit more ground clearance, so the big-footed among you will be happy about that. The electronic Öhlins 3.0, again, it's a tried and tested system. It's just the evolution of that, the support that it's got. Personally, we put some preload in the end because I'm a bit heavy. And if it was my bike, we'd probably look at putting some stiffer springs in there, because this has got to be sprung for the general population, which I'm probably on the heavier side. So the aero, it's difficult to tell in isolation whether it's working or not, but I can tell you that the overall drag reduction is 4% from the previous bike, and being tucked in on the bubble, again, because it's got a nice deep seat arrangement, I can feel like I can get right into this. It's much more comfortable. The frame is 17% lighter. Incidentally, the swing arm that everyone dislikes is 2.7 kilograms lighter. They've engineered both of these to work in combination to give it that flexible feeling, because the way that the bike interacts with the asphalt and the feedback you get with this new setup is far superior to the older bike. The older bike sometimes felt a little bit numb. You didn't quite know what was going on. It's still a fantastic bike. If you've got one, fantastic, well done. But this now, I just had complete faith in the chassis, I had complete faith in the electronics, and it's difficult to fault really. I think the only thing that I would say is sometimes the electronics can hold it back a little bit. It feels like it does have on some of the corners here, you just want a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure that if it gave you that little bit more, you'd be going slower because you'd be spinning the tire and your lap time would be destroyed. You may feel like you're going faster, but you'd probably be going slower. Yeah, in summary, it's really good. It's bloody good. And it's been an amazing day here, and I can't wait to put this up against some of the other competition in some tests to come. But if I was a betting man, this is the one. All right, see you on the next one, guys.